for the thing that you don't understand. You got no fear of the underdog. That's why you will not survive.
Welcome to Talking Tier 1. I'm Tony Scott, joined in studio with Peter Odney. Thank you for joining me today, Peter.
Thanks for having me.
It's going to be an awesome show. We've got lots to cover. U16 all the way down to the 05s. A lot of stuff at the 05s level. We got a big announcement at the 04s with our All-American Combine. Let's get started at the top. U16s, a lot going on there. What's happening in the U16?
Let's start at the real top with our sponsor of the show
true.
today.
I forgot about that. Thank you.
Today's sponsor is Hockey Shot. Improve your game on and off the ice. HockeyShot.com is the worldwide leader in hockey training. Whether you're looking for fun and dynamic training equipment or want to learn from professional players and coaches online, the future of hockey starts now. Visit HockeyShot.com. Tony, do you think any of the U16 teams have been on HockeyShot.com
I'm sure they have
yet?
been. I'm sure they have been. You know what? And if in a broadcasting, you just made a big save there. So congratulations on your first broadcasting save.
I am your Al Michaels. You get to be Chris Collinsworth.
Oh my God. Oh, that's our first boom roasted. I'm going to get you back in a minute, Justin Bieber. Okay, here we go. U16, starting at the top. What's going on with those guys?
Congratulations to Honey Baked.
They're now in the top 5.
Making their initial trip into the rankings. They pulled that off by beating Chicago Mission and Team Illinois. So congrats to Honey Baked.
2 good teams.
Yep. Another team that we're going to keep an eye on in addition to Honey Baked is going to be Selects Academy.
I like that. I like them. They've got a lot of good wins. When you go look at their schedule, they've got some good wins.
I mean, they're on the outskirts a little bit, but they're definitely climbing the rankings.
Yep.
One of their better wins is over Team Illinois, and they haven't lost since December 10th when they fell to Little Caesars.
Which is a little misleading in the Tier 1 because they take such big breaks in that late December.
So when it looks like they haven't lost in a month, in reality they haven't lost in like 5 or 6 games.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, what else? What's going on? I know that Shattuck is headed down to Omaha. Who's going down? Who are they going to be meeting when they're going there?
Omaha's going to host the Colorado Thunderbirds and Shattuck.
Another one of those teams that's knocking on top 5's door at U16.
Right. The Tier 1 level, especially at the U16 level, is really good about having these kind of out-of-the-way tournaments in random places where they get together a few good teams and they play a round-robin style.
Yep. So that'll be good. I suspect Shattuck is now in the My Hockey rankings number 1. Where did you rank them this week in your rankings?
I want to say I had them number 1.
Okay.
I think they're at number 1.
You're number 1.
Shattuck
and Mission flip-flop, it seems like every other week.
It's either Shattuck or Mission. Shattuck might have benefited from not playing recently.
Right.
So they don't bump down because they haven't played. We're not going to penalize teams for taking time to focus on academics. Right.
And then Mission got beat, so I would suspect Shattuck is number 1.
I think Shattuck's number 1.
And they're number 1 in the My Hockey rank as well. All right, let's move down to the Bantams, O2s. They had the Silver Sticks last weekend in Port Huron. Who won that, and how did it go?
Chicago Mission's going to remain number 1 for yet another week at the O2 level. They won the Silver Stick.
You know what? I looked at the schedules, the Silver Stick. I'm not ripping on the Silver Sticks. It's historically one of the greatest tournaments of all time, so don't take this as a rip. The teams really didn't get that tested until deep into the quarterfinals.
Probably not until bracket play.
Yeah, I mean, it really wasn't that many. In fact, get to the 04s, the championship game was 8-0. So it's not like teams are like, oh, there's some nail biters in there. And as a tournament organizer, you want the tight ones. So I'm kind of like more grimacing from their perspective. They didn't get some great championship games.
Right, and sometimes that just comes down to who shows up to play and who doesn't.
And you wear out of gas. I mean, there's 6 games in 3 days kind of situation. So it's a lot of hockey for these teams.
Yeah.
What else happened in O2s?
Mission beat Shattuck in the final of the Silver Stick in the O2s. Shattuck lost once over the Mission, as we said, in Port Huron during the Silver Stick to Mission. And they pulled off big wins over the Oakland Junior Grizzlies and the Oakville Junior Rangers.
Those are good wins. Those are good wins. All right, so now we slide on over to the O3s. What's going on in O3ville?
Moving laterally, Mission number 1 in the O3s.
And I know you picked them number 1. I know they're number 1 there, but I almost want to debate you on this one because I think they lost to Belle Tire and tied Belle Tire.
There are 3
Belle Tire
teams.
Went 5. I know there are. Belle Tire went 5-1 in LA.
They did.
I think they should be number 1.
I
know I've always been a big Belle Tire guy.
That's fair, but I think that Mission's been more consistent
over the long term.
I
agree with that.
Granted, they lost to Belle Tire, and that third team in that rotating carousel is the LA Junior Kings.
And they're really good.
They are. So Mission lost to Belle Tire and to LA Junior Kings. LA lost twice to Belle Tire.
Yeah.
So El
And
Segundo
very
providing
close,
a
very close games too. Those three teams played two times each, and every game was within one goal, tie, shootout type of situation.
right.
So,
Nobody made it out unscathed.
And talk about good hockey. I mean, that would have been some
Right.
good hockey to watch. The people in LA, if you like Tier 1 hockey, you like Bantam hockey, you really got a chance to see some top players and some top, well-coached teams.
Right. Just don't leave your wallet in El Segundo.
Yeah.
Shout out to Tribe Called Quest.
Okay, Boston Junior Eagles also did well. They're creeping up in 0-3s. What did they do?
They went 4-0-1 over the weekend, including a win over an underrated Rochester Monarchs team.
Yeah, very much so. So, you know what's interesting about our show? A lot of times we talk about Minnesota teams, what happened down at Shattuck. You know, we don't have anything to talk about that happened down at Shattuck. Or it's Chicago or Detroit. We're talking about L.A. right now.
L.A.
And we'll be talking about Mississauga later on in the show. We'll be talking about what happened out in Boston. So, like, we're all over the country. We're not
Worldwide.
We're not just Midwest here, boys and girls.
Worldwide prestige.
We are
Prestige
worldwide. All right, on to the 04s. We talked about a blowout, upcoming blowout. Honey Baked on the number one team in the country.
They've been the number one team in the country since
September when you saw them.
probably August.
Yeah, it's before they started.
Granted, Honey Baked is just stacked.
Yeah, and they beat CompuWare 8-0. Don't they realize that these people live in the same town as them? I mean, they can look them up. I mean, they're running the scores.
They can
up
scout
on this
them.
team. No, I mean, Honey Baked is the best team in the country, and poor CompuWare gets all the way to the finals at Pure Huron and gets.
I mean, other than the final score, that had to be a fun game, though, with an all-Motor City final
yes,
like that.
absolutely. So, what's your rankings at
In the 04, it's another three-team race. All three of these teams they're not interchangeable, but they're all in the territory of one another. So we have Honey Baked at 1, Mid Fairfield at 2, and Florida Alliance.
And you're in
at
love
3.
with the Florida boys. I mean,
I do love the Florida boys.
you think that's the team? I think there's some other teams that are, right behind them. That
You didn't
are
see
as
them in
good.
Buffalo.
Oh yeah, just because I didn't see them doesn't mean I can't make
They
an opinion.
tied Honey Baked.
Yeah,
in
I know.
Buffalo.
I know. I'm just thinking that if you look at their overall scope, that they're not as tough as these two teams.
Don't knock the tiger if you're not in the jungle.
Oh my goodness, you got the one-liners today, Justin Bieber. Okay, we have a big announcement today. Came out on our site. We've invited 80 players to our All-American Combine at Notre Dame.
78 of them have accepted.
That is correct. We have 2 more to go, and I hope 2 of them are from Minnesota or nearby Minnesota. But I have no control over it at this point. We have a few more invites than we have spots now. We're in about 83 or 84. The first 2 that take, we obviously will accept as long as they play forward. A few that have accepted, it's a pretty impressive list. You want to list them off and make some comments? You want me to list them off and you want to make the comments, Mr. Jungle guy?
I'm going to let you list them.
Okay,
off,
I'll
and I'm
list
gonna
them
make comments.
because you've been in the jungle before. Okay, all right. Oh, yeah, I've never seen Zam Plant play. All right. Andon Sorbonne.
Speed.
Rutger McGordy.
Everything.
Oh, Gavin Brindley's from Florida, so he's got to be good, right?
Take a look at the picture of Gavin Brindley on the
here we go.
website.
Mr. Picture.
Falling down.
It's like his only
sniping the
it's his
corner.
only picture he's ever gotten a guy
And
scoring
I
a
use it.
goal.
I use it over and
over. Big boy Caleb Smith. His
Powerful.
registration 5'7".
5'7". He's a big kid.
5'7". And there's a few more big ones in this tournament.
Nick Peer is another big kid.
Yeah, Picard from Chicago. Have you seen this kid? He's 5'10".
That's
My
taller
goodness. Okay, keep going. Nick Pierre.
Everything. Shot.
Shot.
I'm gonna go shot.
Shot. Okay. Zam Plant.
Sneaky.
He is sneaky and he's good.
He pops up everywhere on the ice.
Yeah, he is good. He's a really good player. That's just a handful. Go onto our site and read all 78 of the kids that are invited and registered. And this isn't just invited and committed. These are registered players in the event. It's going to be awesome, Peter, because you're in the jungle. You'll be down at Notre Dame. I'll be covering our event here in Minnesota at the exact same time. So it's going to be a big weekend for us. You'll be in Notre Dame covering the top 04s in the country. I'll be here doing the Stars of Tomorrow.
I'll put away all of my USC gear.
All right. Yeah, I know. I was going to make a joke about Notre Dame, but I didn't think any of the kids would get the Notre Dame references. I was like a touchdown Jesus joke in there.
Well, they haven't been
They're not
relevant
really.
since
Yes, and I like that, by the way.
forever.
All right. Now, last but not least, let's go to the 05s. We have, of course, our good old friends, Philly
Little Flyers.
Little Flyers.
And
Not the junior ones, the little ones.
The
They're like
note
this
that
big.
the note that we have next to Philly number 1 is duh,
Yeah,
because
exactly.
they've been number 1 the entire time
I would
we've been doing the
argue
rankings.
that Mid-Fairfield's right in there as well. They're more of a speedy bunch than the big physical bunch that the Little Flyers are.
That's fair, but until Philly loses, which I don't think they've done, and
It's been a while.
it's been at least 24 games. They outscored the Washington Little Caps in the last 3 games,
poor guys.
32-4.
Jeez.
But that's the number one team beating who they're supposed to
Yep.
beat by how much
and
they're supposed to beat them
consistency
by.
is what makes Philly so good. So
Right.
I agree with that. Anaheim Junior Ducks also had a good run. I think that's another good. If we're talking West Coast 05s, that's the squad out there.
Part of the fun of Tier 1 is having a team like Philly all the way on the East Coast, and then having a team like Anaheim all the way over on the West Coast. You don't know a ton about each team because you don't see them every day.
Yeah.
But Anaheim's another one of those teams on the periphery that could sneak into the top 1 or 2 spots.
And I'm thankful that neither one were red or blue, because then we'd have kind of a gang war thing going here. We don't want that, right?
No.
We don't want that.
No.
All right, border battle this weekend up in Mississauga. This is their second border battle put on by Super Series.
Right.
Some great teams. Talk about some of those teams that are playing up there.
We're going to see 2 of the top 5 U.S. teams, I believe, and 2 of the top 5 Ontario
Yeah,
teams.
Oakville and Toronto Nats are playing in it.
Yep, and then
we talked about Philly. Who's the other one that's going to be up
The
there?
New Jersey Colonials.
Ooh, see, I like that team almost as well as Philly.
I'm going to take Philly.
Yeah, I think they're deeper, but I think there's some players on New Jersey that are just as strong.
Some game breakers.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll keep an eye
absolutely.
on the Toronto Nats for sure.
All right, so now we're going to give the show a wrap. We're going to give our game pucks out. You want to go first? Or you want me
Wrap.
to go? You going to go first?
I'm going to let you.
You let me go first. Okay, game puck. My game puck, it's kind of a weird one. We have some 06 Tier 1 teams coming up to Minnesota this week playing in our tournament called the YHH Sportacular. We got a team from Arizona coming up. We got team Dallas Stars Elite coming. We have Green Bay Junior Gamblers coming. We have Madison Capitals coming. We're going to have some Tier 1 programs here playing against our teams. What I'm really looking forward to and giving them the game puck is they're here to enjoy the experience. Obviously, a YHH tournament is special, but in addition to that, we have Hockey Day Minnesota, which is all the top teams in the state. We start with high school in the morning. We play the Minnesota Gophers, play in the mid-afternoon, and then at night the Wild play. And it's all broadcast on FSN here on TV. There's outdoor, besides that outdoor festival and the tournament here, there's also another outdoor tournament over on Lake Minnetonka. So if you come into Minnesota, they're going to get a full experience of what hockey in Minnesota is all about. So my game puck goes out to those teams for coming into town and checking out our venue. What's your game puck?
My game puck is going to go out to the kids who, unfortunately, were not invited to the All-American Combine.
Several great players.
There were dozens of great players that there's only a select number of spots. Don't worry about it. If you didn't get invited, just keep on trucking.
Keep on trucking. Keep playing hard.
Keep skating.
For Peter Odney, I'm Tony Scott. Thanks for tuning in today to Talking Tier 1. We'll see you around the rink.